Championship for the MEAC, along with Catherine Dorn Lizzie, the multiple titleists. I'm Charlie Neal, and we welcome you to Raleigh, North Carolina. And you look at this University of Alabama Birmingham team, a team that's never been in this position. It's an opportunity for them to do it today.
Well, if you walked into this bowling center yesterday, you would never believe that they have never been in a championship round before. Those ladies attacked the lanes. They were 40 pins down in the traditional game. They came back to win by 30. You would never know that they had never bowled for a championship. I wouldn't be surprised if they took that today.
Well, who do you like and who do you feel will help them get over that hump?
Well, we have to keep our eye on their anchor bowler. She's only a sophomore, Madison Colston, but she's comfortable there and she enjoys being the team leader, and it shows. She's a little mild-mannered, but don't underestimate that there's a tiger inside waiting to come out. She is fierce on the lanes.
On the other side, when you look at the Aggies, this is the 8th straight year they've been in the championship. They've won 8 MEAC bowling titles over the years. What do you like about them?
Well, we have to keep our eye on the unique and ultimate fan of everyone's is Victoria White. Now, years ago, you didn't see many two-handed bowlers, maybe a handful. But lady two-handed bowlers now is unbelievable. She's got strength. She's got power, finesse, and a beautiful posting shot at the foul line. She's got the whole package, and I guarantee you today she's going to show us why.
And of course, we have a Baker format which we deal with as far as this collegiate bowling is concerned. 5 bowlers per team. Each player bowls 5 frames, 1 through 5. Repeat order frames 6 through 10. And it's a best of 7 matchup. And of course, last year, North Carolina A&T against Maryland Eastern Shore, they went 6 games in this particular format and lost after leading 2-0.
Oh.
So when we talk about the lineups, we start with Alabama Birmingham, and Madison Colston will lead off for the Blazers. She'll be followed by Victoria Kobos. And then Miss Ship will be in the 3rd position. Jordan Ship out of Pensacola, Florida. In the number 4 spot will be Savannah Schneider from Niceville, Florida. And in the anchor position right now will be Madeline Oliva for the Blazers. For North Carolina A&T, Grace Stowe will lead off, followed by Laura Garcia. Victoria White will be in the number 3 position. Chloe Newberry in the number 4 spot. And in the anchor position will be Laura Garcia, Maya will be in the number 5 spot. Which is Maya Aviles. So we're right to get this one underway. Charlie Neal, along with Kathy Dorn Lizzie. Glad you could be with us.
I am too. This is very exciting. Brings me back to memory lane for me.
Been a while since we've been together for this bowling championship, huh?
Well, I will say both teams look very relaxed.
This is Grace Stowe leading off for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Grace, sociology major out of Raleigh. She's home. This is her bowling center that she bowls at. She's from Raleigh, North Carolina. She even works here.
So, she said that yesterday.
So this is perfect for her. She knows this alley very well.
She's very comfortable
here. Yes.
And she comes from a bowling family. Both sisters are great bowlers. Her older sister just graduated from Arkansas State, and her younger sister is getting ready to go to Jack State. So she comes from a very, very talented bowling family.
And she has stepped up to the plate recently. Has had some pretty good games. Grace Stowe, second roll, trying to pick up the spare, and she does.
It's always good to get that first mark under your belt, get the team going. And to lower your blood pressure a little bit.
Yes, it does. It does help, doesn't it?
Yes.
So leading off for the Blazers of University of Alabama, Birmingham is Miss Kobos, Victoria Kobos. These two,
Okay, it's an easy spare. When you bowl events like this, even if it's not for a championship, the patterns are tough. The lane conditions are a little difficult. Sparing is everything. Have to be on your spare game. And that's the one thing that impressed me most about all of the teams yesterday was very good spare shooting.
and that's the key. You know, you don't want to leave any marks or leave anything
No.
open. Any open frames will kill you, won't it?
Yes, you just want to stay clean.
Young lady from Brownsville, Texas. Second shot, trying to pick up the spare with the 6'10" pin, and she does. And Kim Terrell Kearney, she's a head coach, fifth year as the coach of the year, fifth straight year. The MEAC coach of the year, six coach of the years overall, once while she was at Delaware State, and picked up her fifth coach of the year this season.
Well, Kim, I've known Kim a long time, and Kim has done some amazing things in her bowling career. So this is just something to add to her wonderful resume.
Laura Garcia on deck for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Laura's the lone lefty on this team, fifth year senior out of Cali, Columbia.
Now, when I talked to her yesterday, I asked her, what is it like for you to be the only left-hander? And she said, actually, it makes her feel very unique. And I loved what she said. She said, it makes me have to perform and to make better shots.
Right.
Because if she's the only lefty, there's no one to read off of. So she really is on her own, but it's going to make her better. And I loved it that she was honest about that.
First team All MEAC this past season. Can she pick it up? No. Still leaves two. Open frame early on for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about Baker is nobody's going to be perfect. That's what team play is all about. Next bowler has to get up and pick her up.
This is Madison Colston, first team All MEAC this season. MEAC Bowl of the Week in the conference back in February. Right there in the pocket, and she gets the strike.
That was a great shot, and they needed that. It's the first strike out of 4 frames, so we needed to see some perfection out there to get everybody going.
And there's Michelle Cruz. She's the head coach, started the program at University of Alabama, Birmingham. And quite a story she was telling us about how that program evolved, where she bowled herself at Central Florida, but got the program going back, 2011?
Yes, and she's still here with a few ups and downs. That takes a lot of dedication and loyalty to what she believes in for those lady bowlers.
This is Victoria White, the freshman, one of the most highly recruited freshmen in the country. And she is a two-handed bowler.
She's one of the phenomenons that I was talking about in the beginning. Look at that beautiful placement at the foul line. She's a tall girl, so for her to have that great of a finish at the foul line is extremely important for her. But she's very humble, very excited, but extremely accomplished. First team conference and was rookie of the year as a freshman. Talking to her yesterday, I asked her, do you feel pressured with all of that? Because now when you walk into a bowling center, everybody's talking your name. She said, no, I just want to be me. I loved that. I just want to be me.
She's from Wentzville, Missouri. Business Information technology is her major, and she picks up a spare.
She looks a lot more relaxed today. She struggled yesterday in the traditional game, and she ended up getting taken out. But maybe that was a good thing. Give her a rest. Let her get her emotions in check. She looks a lot better today.
This is Savannah Snyder from Niceville, Florida.
Now let's watch her shot here. Came off her hand good, but she missed a little right. Once it gets into the oil, it's not going to recover, as we can see there. Leaving the 110, she probably would have been better off if she left the complete washout with the 2 and the 4 pin. A little easier to make that way.
Tallest bowler on this UAB team. And she does pick up the spare.
That's fantastic.
Great spare.
Yes. She proved me wrong. She made it anyway. Let's see how she shot at this, too. A lot of people would shoot it from the right, but she shot it from the left. She went right towards that head pin. Slid it over.
Got it to do what she wanted it to do.
It did exactly what she wanted it to do. She threw a perfect spare shot, and they need that. You need to make some splits if they're makeable.
This is Chloe Newberry for the Aggies, a veteran. And you look at this Aggie team, you talk to Kim, she loses like 5 players from this team after this season ends. We'll lose 5 from this team. Caton, Garcia, Stowe, Aviles, and Newberry. Newberry, one of the 5 that'll be gone.
Most colleges go through that, even high school bowling teams. You're up on top for years, and then when everybody graduates, you got to start all over again.
But a couple freshmen on this squad this year for Kim, Terrell Kearney, and they've built on the chemistry from the beginning, and it's still flowing pretty good.
I don't think Kim's going to have anything to worry about. Her up-and-comers are extremely talented. And when you have an accomplished coach such as Kim, it makes it a little easier to groom them to the next level.
Right. You have Jasmine Hall that's there. That's a freshman. You have another freshman we talked about in Victoria White. A couple sophomores. Tiana Cruz is a freshman. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting as we look at Jordan Shipp out of Pensacola, Florida.
I like Jordan's game. She's smooth. She gets it off her hand great. She was a very big, intricate part of their success this morning. She shot a 233 game in the traditional game, and that really got the team going.
As we know, we started with 8 teams in the championship on Friday. 2 schools out of the 8 schools in the MEAC do not field bowling, and that is North Carolina Central and South Carolina State. They do not have bowling teams, but North Carolina A&T, who's in the CAA, and also Alabama Birmingham, which is in the American Athletic Conference, both are associate members in bowling here.
Now you'll see quite a few of the ladies so far. Their ball isn't coming into the pocket, so we're not seeing a lot of back-end reaction. That could be that, of course, the pattern plays a lot.
Yes, it does.
Has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to choose the right equipment. And the ball could be starting up too soon, or it could be going too long. So that's something that they're going to have to figure out with their coaches and to make the proper adjustment.
This is Maya Aviles. Current Chloe Newberry, and she comes up with a big strike that foul.
Now that was a great shot. You could see that Maya is playing further left, and she's a very strong bowler. She's got a very strong release, but she's playing further left than everybody. So statistically, and even she came up light. Statistically, if your ball hangs to the right, you would move right. But sometimes on these trickier patterns, you have to move away from the oil and you have to move left. That's what she did.
And there's a strike for Miss Oliva. And we'll be back. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the MEAC Bowling Championship. Stay with us. And Avila's. And there you see the score right now. A little advantage for the Blazers of Alabama Birmingham, looking for their first ever MEAC Bowling Championship. And we have the number one bowler, the leadoff bowler, Grace Stoll, on deck. Six frame, game one. Pocket.
Great shot.
Very good.
Great shot.
Right in
Now,
there.
it looks like she's playing more where Maya is playing. So she moved left to stay away from the hang, which would be the oil to the right. But look at how she posts her shot. She stares it right into the pocket. That's confidence.
Sociology major. Bowler earlier of the week this month at the Stallings Invite, where she finished first in some fill percentage at 91.2. And another
great
10
shot.
pin, 10 pin left standing for.
Just entered the pocket just a little too late. But if I were her, I wouldn't do anything crazy. When you're on a pattern like this, you just want to stay safe. You want to keep your ball in the pocket and make your spares. Much better shots.
Victoria out of Brownsville, Texas. Veterans Memorial High School is where she hailed from. Made the MEAC All Academic Team. I asked each one of these young ladies, what is their strength?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, my heart. That's
Yep.
my heart is my strength. See if she can pick up the spare. She does.
I asked her the same thing, and I said, what do you think your weakness is? She said, I stress over things I can't control. And I said, everybody does.
I know. Yep.
So here's our only lefty.
Laura Garcia.
Beautiful shot.
Big strike for Miss Garcia.
She let that go. That was beautiful. Watch this beautiful shot. And she, once again, stares it right into the pocket. She told me yesterday, when I'm lined up and I'm loose and I see a good reaction, everything's good, mentally and physically.
She didn't participate in bowling her freshman year at North Carolina A&T, but and we also talk about how the patterns can be difficult for left-handers, and she's been able to overcome those things.
Yes, she has, and she's the only lefty, which, as I said before, I think has made her better.
Madison Colston leaves three standing.
Now, Madison is also a bowler that has a lot of power behind her ball. She has nice rotation. So until the lanes break down, she may have to soften up her speed a little bit, let the ball do the work, let the ball react on the lane.
Well, when I talked to her today, earlier this morning, she said power and energy is her strength, but she also feels she has to work on slowing down a little.
Correct. And the great thing about that is she knows exactly what she needs to improve on.
Can she get the spare? She does.
Sometimes we bowl and we don't know what we're doing wrong. I always felt a good bowler should want to know why they bowl good and why they bowl bad. That's the only way you're going to get better. And she does. She knows exactly what she needs to work on.
This is the MEAC Rookie of the Year. We're talking about Victoria White.
And first team conference as a freshman.
First team all conference as a freshman. Three-time Rookie of the Week during the season and one-time Bowler of the Week. She was the Bowler of the Week in October at Destination Orlando in that tournament with a league best 21.04 average per frame.
My God. That's outstanding. I didn't, that came up a little high. I didn't think that was that bad, but she kept it a lot tighter. She kept that ball a lot tighter. Yesterday she was missing a lot more to the right. Most of her misses yesterday were light, and now this one was high. So she's trying to tighten her lineup, which is smart. She just may have to move a little further left.
4-7-10 pin standing. Almost. Gets to one open frame there.
Now, for all of you young bowlers out there watching, get the 2 pins. Always get the wood, because we watched matches yesterday that came down to pins.
Mm-hmm. Vanna Schneider, MEAC all academic team. And I asked her about her strength. She said, and even talking to coach, that it's not about her. It's about the team.
That's right.
And that's very, very important.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not
it
about her,
was.
it's about the team. And her biggest thing she says, I just need to stay patient.
That's it. Well, we all need to stay patient. She did focus a lot on, when I was speaking with her yesterday, about having a very clear line space when she bowls. She's overcome a lot. She's overcome some anxiety issues
Mm-hmm.
as if when she was a freshman. And so she works really hard on trying to repeat her shots. So being in a position like this to try to win a title will be a great experience for her.
Look at our all MEAC first team. Look at the Aggies. There you go. Aviles, Garcia, Newberry, and White. And for UAB, Madison Colston was a first team all MEAC selection this year. Meanwhile,
Having
this is Chloe Newberry.
having 4 first teamers must make
Yeah,
Coach Kim
yeah,
very,
a
very
little bit.
proud. That tells a lot about the program and the coaching. Chloe's another extremely talented young lady who didn't really bowl a lot of youth events before coming to college to bowl. And she does has aspirations to join the Pro Tour, but she's not going to get her card until after Women's Nationals because she agreed to bowl with me.
Ah,
So
ah,
that was part of the deal.
all right. Here comes the spare. Miss Newberry.
I was very amazed to find out that quite a few of these girls did not have a youth career before coming to college to bowl because they're so talented.
Jordan Ship started her career at Florida A&M before coming over here to UAB. She was the anchor bowler on the FAMU Rattler squad. She's in grad school. Public health is her major. She leaves a 10 pin.
Now that shot that was not a good shot. She just got that left off her hand. We're lucky it hit the pocket, even though it was on the left, to just leave 9.
And talking about her strength to her, she says, I'm born for these moments. That's what she
I love
said.
that.
Yeah. And she said if there's something she really has to work on, she has to stop wearing her heart on the sleeve.
Yeah.
And here's the spare from this ship.
Yeah, she graduated from Florida A&M
Mm-hmm.
and then redshirted 1 year
Yeah,
to have
took a
2
year
more
off.
years
Yeah.
of eligibility to bowl
Yeah.
for UAB, and I give her a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, she took that year off so she could get those 2 years of eligibility back, which was great. Aviles struck in the fifth frame of this game number one. Anchor bowler. Let's see what she can do here. The most important position on this squad.
Yes, sir.
This is the 10th frame. Well,
Oh,
you're talking about rocking the baby.
I,
Rockabye baby in the treetops.
that came in a little high too, but again, at the point of release, I did not think that was a bad shot. But you can see here it goes right directly on the head pin. She really got lucky. If she had just left the 610.
She's even laughing. She's still laughing
she's going to
herself.
take that.
She can't believe it. As I say, rockabye baby in the treetops. When
So
the
now
pin falls.
let's see if she makes a move on this next shot.
Let's see what happens here. Big shot that time in this, the 10th frame of game number 1. Gives the Aggies a pretty good lead right now. Going
Much
there
better.
again.
That was much better. And I don't know if she made a move, but she definitely threw that ball 100% better with much more confidence.
And at times, it's been between Newberry and Aviles who's going to be that anchor bowler in that
Yes.
number 5 spot. And today, Kim Terrell Kearney decided it's going to be Miss Aviles who's going to hold down that anchor position.
And what's nice is, just like UAB, both teams are capable of moving someone into that spot.
Yes.
There's some teams that can't do that.
And that shows the depth that you have.
Yes, it does. And the confidence you have in your players, and the confidence that the player has to be in that position.
Here we go again.
Great shot.
Well, not a bad way to finish game number 1 for the Aggies. They finished with a 183 to take a 1-0 lead because UAB can't catch them no matter what they do going forward, even if they strike 3 straight times here in frame number 10.
So this would be a great opportunity for the anchor bowler to try something different if what she's doing now is not working. But that's working, so I wouldn't change anything.
Yep, that's moving. I believe the max they can get is what, 176? Is that correct?
Yes.
The Aggies have 183. And this is Oliva. A strike on the first one. And she leaves 3 on the second bowl.
And you can see she plays the lanes totally different. She's further to the right. She goes up and at him. So her ball is never going to do anything crazy. She keeps it very simple.
Nice try, but leaves it open.
She must have heard what I said earlier. Make sure you get the 2 pitches.
As the Aggies take a 1-0 lead, winning the first of the best of 7 Baker Series, 183 to 163. UAB will lead off, going to the left lane this time. And it'll be Miss Cobos, Victoria, Mass Communications major.
Much better shot.
7 pin doesn't fall for her, but it is a good shot.
That was a great shot to start this new game off.
This is a young lady who transferred into UAB from Prairie View A&M. Of course, Prairie View, I think when she was there, won the SWAC championship. So she had some experience in both HBCUs conferences and field bowling teams.
So she's been here before.
Yeah, she won a championship there. Transferred. Here goes a spare for the 7 pin.
I asked her what made her choose UAB, and she said, when I went to visit, It was just the perfect blend of school and bowling. It made her feel like she was at home.
Yes. And she's from Brownsville, Texas, which is way down in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley
Mm-hmm.
at the end of
Yeah.
the state, right? Not a good start that time.
No, that ball never reacted. Now she's throwing
Oh,
a
great.
shinier ball, and that's probably why that ball didn't react. Plus, she got it to the right. So she just now needs to put that behind her and concentrate on making the spare.
Grace Stoll, local young lady. Really freestanding. So, MEAC Bowling Championship, of course, UAB's looking for their first ever title. First time they've been in the championship. Of course, the Aggies seeking their fourth title in 5 years and their ninth overall. And this is the eighth straight year they've been in the championship. They lost three of those previous seven, all to University of Maryland Eastern
Can you
Shore.
believe that? Another shot that comes up high. It looked like she lost that a little bit. Didn't look like she had total control over that at the point of release. And as you can see, the conditions are hard. This is a tough pattern these ladies are bowling on. 163 to 183. That's telling you that this is a sparing competition. This is not going to be everybody stringing 10 strikes. Just stay clean.
Colston for the spare. And she picks it up.
Majority of these ladies are very good spare shooters. But when you bowl on tougher conditions, it makes you become a better spare shooter.
Garcia, electrical engineering major, first team all conference, and made the MEAC all academic team. Had a strike in the first frame. She leaves two here. In fact, the 4 and 7 pin still standing.
Yeah, she pulled that a little bit so it crossed over, only leaving the 4-7. So she shouldn't have a problem picking this up. And you can hear when she releases her strike ball. I'll have to listen for her spare ball. It sounds like it's rolling over her fingers or her thumb hole.
From Cali, Colombia, Miss Garcia. She picks up the spare.
Now she stayed right behind that to make that spare, so we're not going to hear that noise.
And we remind all of our viewers, ESPN's coverage of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships begins on Thursday, April 17th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Five ten.
Yeah, so that shot there, I think she's a little too far right. I think she needs to move in a little bit. Where Maya is, you'll see it almost crossed over, leaving the 310. Totally a makeable split. Something you really don't want to leave.
Right, right.
But I think she could move left and let it float a little bit. Looked like she forced that.
Can make it.
Great spare.
Great spare.
Great spare.
So
all of the girls pick up a plastic ball to shoot their spares, and she couldn't have lined that up any better.
That ball just rained off of that five
Bumped
pin
right off the bumped right off the bumped right off the
into the 10.
right into the 10 pin. Perfect shot though. Nobody wants to leave a split. Here's our freshman.
Victoria White, open frame in the first game, 8th frame.
Great shot.
Coming their way though, Miss Victoria White.
So what sets her apart from most of the other female bowlers is what you're going to see here, the rotation and the power by using two hands. So when she comes up light, the pins just fly around because of the power, the rotation she puts on her ball.
And we noticed as we've been talking that two-handed bowling by females is something that's fairly new, especially at the collegiate level. Have you tried it?
Oh God, no. I'm still trying to work on one hand.
On one hand, right? How difficult is the transition, do you think?
You know, I don't think it's as difficult. I think it depends on the bowler and how they just pick it up and begin their style. You still have to learn the same fundamentals as you would if you bowled with one hand. But there are some differences that you need to take into consideration because you're swinging both arms by you.
And it's only one. 2 holes in the ball.
Correct.
As opposed to 3.
Correct. But your surfaces, how you drill your equipment, all stays the same. You still have to have there's a method to the madness. You have to have a game plan.
Miss Ship. Chopping wood. Wasn't able to.
Yep. Needed to get that ball a little bit further to the right. But I know they're afraid to throw it to the right because when you get it too far right, it doesn't recover. So that's why these conditions are difficult. You have to find that right angle. Bowling is a sport of angles. How your angle of entry to get to the pocket.
Chloe Newberry in the first.
Much better shot.
Whoa, she gets the strike.
Now see, that was a much better shot, and it still went a little too long because it looked like she softened up her speed a little bit.
Game number 1, she had an open frame and then a spare, and now she has a strike, and it's back-to-back strikes for the Aggies right now from Victoria White and Chloe Newberry. Right now, we have Miss Oliva, the anchor bowler for UAB. Looks like with the 8 pin standing.
Now that was just a bad shot. Like I said, she keeps the game very simple. She's just down and in, throws it very straight, releases it beautifully, but has a very straight down and in game. And this is a condition where she's not going to have a lot of room for error, left or right. Which is why the girls that have a little more hand or rotation are further left and keeping it tighter further in.
Error is made. Very important.
Yes, you know what they say, nobody misses the 5 pin.
Maya Aviles, what a 10th frame she had in game number 1. In fact, in that first game, she had 3 strikes. She had one in the 5th frame, 2 strikes plus 9 in the 10th.
Which is why she's last. Plus, she's the spark plug. She's got all that energy.
Gets in there.
That was nice. That was a nice shot. She's playing the lanes correctly for her game, 100%. And there's
Well,
no
again,
magic, there's no magic line.
yeah,
But those that throw it like her should be playing where she is and making the small adjustments. One left, one right, but staying aggressive, keeping your hand behind it. That's exactly what she's doing. This is a condition where you just want to get to the pocket and stay clean.
and the coaches, both of these coaches, Coach Cruz and Coach Kearney, both waited until the practice to decide who the anchor bowlers were going to be. We're
Yes,
going
they
to take a
did.
step aside here, and the stare is picked up. We'll be back or alley side, depends on how
Alley
you want to
side.
say it. And it's the MEAC Bowling Championship, and North Carolina A&T trying to come up with another championship. UAB rather, Alabama Birmingham looking for their first ever. Their leadoff bowler for Alabama Birmingham and the Blazers. And the 10 pin just doesn't fall that time. Miss Cobos.
Now that's her third great shot in a row. She has not gotten rewarded for it. So,
8 spare, 9 spare, 7 spare.
correct.
And let's see what happens here. If she can pick up this spare, should be an easy one. It's a 10 pin. But nothing is ever easy.
No, no. But she's in the pocket. So this is where you say to yourself, should I move? Should I switch balls? And that's where people get locked into then getting confused. Sometimes you just want to stay where you're at and make your spare.
Ooh, how difficult was that one?
Yeah, that's unfortunate because she shouldn't have left it.
I mean, it just rolled off the
Right at the
alley
end.
right at the end. It was so close, yet so far away. Grace Stoll, the leadoff bowler, bowling in the number 1 spot for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Local young lady from right here in Raleigh.
Oh, it looks like she moved left. Perfect.
And Miss Stoll
Perfect shot.
with a strike.
Now she's using a shinier ball, but she kept her speed down. She didn't overthrow that. Beautiful release, great follow through. Watched it go right into the pocket. Couldn't have thrown it any better.
When she was named Bowler of the Week earlier this month, she had a 9-count spare percentage and made all 36 and had the second best sum of an average first ball of 8.97.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
There's a strike. Much needed strike from Miss
Yes,
Olson.
because she's usually anchored. She's anchored all weekend, and she's not in that position. So she needed that strike maybe to loosen her arm swing up.
Yeah, we saw her anchoring yesterday,
Yes.
right?
But every day is a different event.
Yes, it is. It certainly is. Coaches will tell you that. Coaches have to make. They wait until the last, possible minute to decide
Tell us who was
their
bowling where.
line-
Yeah.
And you had some teams that came in with only 5 bowlers that didn't have a
Yes.
choice.
It's very important to put the right player in the right position. So you can hear that
10-10.
little thumping. Look at, you can hear that little thumping.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. I hear that.
I think she rolls it right over her finger or her thumb hole. You can hear it.
Yeah, you could hear the whole
Yes,
rolling down the lane.
but she doesn't do it on her spare shot. She stays behind it and flattens her hand out.
So, trying to pick up the spare is Laura Garcia, electrical engineering major. She said if there's one thing she has to work on to be a much better bowler is trust herself.
Yep.
And she picks up the spare.
Most of these ladies had the same answers and reactions to our questions. They overthink. They can't sweat the small stuff.
Here's Miss Snyder.
Very common.
Savannah, accounting major.
Well, let's see if she made a move.
Looking good. Almost.
Yeah, that looked identical to her last shot, where it almost looks like it's going to stay to the right of the head pin, but it doesn't. I think she's going a little too straight for where she's standing. I think she needs to move everything left.
You ever think about coaching yourself on the collegiate level?
Coaching myself.
No, coach, coaching on the
Oh, on the
collegiate level.
collegiate level, um, when I come to these events, it inspires me to do so. Yeah, because I've lived that. One of the best parts of my life was collegiate bowling, and this is why the energy, the unity. You go in as a 185 average bowler, you come out as a 215 average bowler. Um, I don't know. I'm not getting any younger.
Victoria came up with a strike here in the third frame of this second game. This is our two-handed bowler.
You can see she just had her eyes closed, taking a deep breath. Wants to be in the moment.
Missed the head pin.
Yeah, she just threw that way right. And even with all her rotation and power, it wasn't coming
It
back.
didn't come back.
That's what we call out of bounds.
Kim was telling me she was one of the most highly recruited freshmen or coming out of high school, coming into college. And she was very fortunate that her and her parents decided to let her come to North Carolina A&T. A lot of schools wanted her. One of the top recruits in the United States. Boy.
So she still played that in that out of bounds area. She was right on the cliff there. That's why that ball didn't recover either. Unfortunate. She did say Coach Kim was the main reason she came
Decided
to
to come
A&T.
here.
Yes. And that the school takes a lot of pride in what they do there. She really liked that.
You know, bowling for these young ladies is probably the longest season of any sport because they start like in October and they'll be going all the way until May.
Oh, yeah. uh, Coach Kim told me yesterday, she said, this is the point in the season where it's hard to keep the ladies motivated because they're burnt out, they're tired, they're sore, everything on the makes, and yet they still have 3 events left, 3 big ones.
Some big ones, yes.
So she tries to,
USBC and the
yes,
NCAA.
she tries to take them away from practice and to do out of the bowling center
Hmm.
activities, but as a group. And I said, what a great idea.
Some bonding type
Yes.
situations. Get away from the sport for a minute.
Yep.
Clear your head. Here we go.
Much better. I heard one of her teammates just yell that that was a much better second shot.
Still a chance for UAB here in game number 2. Chloe Newberry, 3-time first team All MEAC. They lost a couple of good players from last year. Of course, the Bowler of the Year, Lauren Tomaszewski. And of course, we talked earlier about the fact that they're going to lose 5 from this squad after this season is over. Chloe Newberry being one of them. Here we go.
Much better. Great
10
shot.
pin. 10 pin just didn't want to cooperate.
Great shot. Nothing you can do about that.
Should be a good spare for her. Chloe Newberry did leave an open frame in game number 1, the number 4 spot.
Well, she was lucky too because she got put on varsity her freshman year and she proved herself. She's been on varsity ever since. She ran with it. She said, You never know how many shots you're going to get.
Ooh, just made the spare.
Yeah.
That was close. That almost came off the rim. So, 10th frame. Here's our anchor bowlers. We start with Miss Oliva from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Madeline, they call her Maddie, healthcare manager, a major rather.
Great shot. And that's very impressive because, like I've stated before, I think she's playing the tougher area of the lane because she doesn't have a lot of miss to the left or to the right. She keeps it very simple, straight down and in. She follows through. She puts everything she has on her ball. That was a beautiful shot. And I noticed also all weekend was sometimes it was better to come up light. The pins flew around a lot better. If you came up solid in the pocket, you left something. So they shouldn't be afraid to just come up a little light.
179, I think, is max for them. That is Alabama, Birmingham. Here in the 10th frame, if she continues to strike. Red is split.
Came up a little high. She pulled that just a little bit. And unfortunately, on a pattern like this, you pay the price for little mistakes. Big consequence for a little mistake.
So 167 right now. Let's see if it can make it work. Oh, left it open. So we left it open for the Aggies. 167. So North Carolina A&T, all they have to do is a couple strikes and they have won this one. Depending on what happens on the first roll here by the anchor bowler. And that is Maya Aviles. Last time in the anchor spot in game number 1, 2 strikes and 9 on the third roll. 2 strikes here gives them the win.
She just missed a little right, but she's so aggressive, and I love that. She releases her ball every single time. She's just so aggressive. What I mean by that is her follow through, her instinct, the way she releases it. And she said in her interview, I have a tendency to overthrow it. It's hard for me to soften up. And on this, it's kind of hard to do both, but she could probably soften up just a little bit.
Has to pick up this spare, though. Very, very important. And she does.
And that's not an easy spare.
No, it wasn't.
There's several ways you could chop that very easily. So that was a very, very big spare.
It was.
Now she just
169 plus a strike
just
here
have to
would be a
keep it on the lane.
179, right?
Yeah. Yes, she just has to keep it on the lane for pride.
Right, for pride, yeah. Because even if she puts it in the gutter, they win by 2.
Correct. But we don't want to do that. No, now would be a good time maybe if she wanted to change something. Maybe try another ball or... But she's been pretty accurate. She's one of the best spare shooters I've seen.
That's the way to end it, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's the way to end the
179, 167. The Aggies make a 2-0 lead in this best of 7 Baker format. I think it'll be a
I'd love to be there.
good matchup. Here we start game number 3. And the Aggies up 2-0, winning the first one 183-163, and the last one 179-167. And you can chop a little wood on this one. That's Grace Stowe.
That was a very good shot. Very good shot. I'm shocked she hasn't tried something maybe a little stronger or something with a little more surface because her speed is good. But that's why I'm sitting here and Kim's over there.
Now, UAB is going to shuffle their lineup a little bit. They're going to keep the same five, but they're going to move them in different positions. So we're going to have to keep track of what they're doing with that. Trying to pick up the spare, chopping wood, and is unable to do so.
That's a difficult spare anyway. She chose to throw her plastic ball at it. So you have to be a little more accurate. Now, fortunately, she got one.
So Oliva, who has been the anchor bowler for UAB, is going to lead off right now in this game number 3.
See how she gets that light hit? She just hit the head pin and she blew the rack. That's great. But she has the perfect angle for where she's playing this condition to do that.
So what are your thoughts going from 5 to 1?
Well, I always felt you need a strong bowler in your first position, 4th and 5th, because then you can put 3 marks together. I don't really know why she took her out of anchor, but she kept her in. So
kept her in, yeah.
Like I said, there is a method to the madness of putting the correct player in the right position.
This time for Garcia. Her second strike of the match.
Great shot by Lauda. Watch how smooth she is at the point of release. She never takes her eye off the ball. Steers it right into the pocket. And that was solid,
and
too.
And arm still swinging.
Arm still swinging.
This is Miss Kobos, who was the leadoff bowler in the previous 2 games, and she's bowling in the number 2 spot right now. Way off the mark. I can't believe that.
I'm shocked.
You may not be in this in this 4th game. She keeps that up.
Normally, I would say at least come back limping and say you hit your ankle. Let's see if she can pull it together, though, to bring it back.
All you need is a strike here, and you got a spare. As we start game number 3.
I like that. She's taking her time. That's got to unnerve you a little bit as well.
Oh, yeah, especially first ball.
Yeah.
And you put it in the gutter.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going for a spare or the 10-pin or the 7-pin. Much better.
Excellent. Now look at that.
That's what I said.
That shows character right there. That was beautiful because she's thrown a lot of good shots today. She has not gotten rewarded. And then to throw it in the gutter and come back with that, that's impressive. She can take a breath now.
She needs to. And I know she was probably kicking herself after that gutter ball. Victoria White left an open frame in game number 7 in the number 8 spot. Number 3 bowler.
She always tries to look for the best solution in her game, no matter what pattern she's bowling on.
Here we go.
You know, that was a much better shot, and she moved left. She probably needs to move a little bit more. I thought that was a better shot. Unfortunately, she did not get a break, so she needs to get the 2 pins.
It's not a difficult spare, but you have to hit it just right.
Yeah, because it's the 4, 6, 7. It's a little more difficult than some, but everything's makeable.
Little open. So now, moving in a number 3 spot, is Savannah Snyder. She was bowling in the number 3 spot in the previous game, so she stays in her original position. Coach Cruz is shaking the lineup up a little bit for UAB.
Okay, she keeps coming up high, leaving the 3-6. I love the fact that all of the ladies switch to a plastic ball to shoot their spares. Much safer that way. It forces you to be much more accurate.
So, shot of Coach Cruz, first ever bowling coach at UAB, 2011. She's built this program. She was an All-American bowler at UCF. But even more importantly, is the spares picked up that time. He was telling me Ken Terrell Kearney was her coach
Yes,
when she was on the 2008 Junior Team USA.
yes. And she is honored to be coaching alongside Kim. And she should be, because she can learn a lot from Kim just by the adjustments that Kim makes with her team.
Chloe Newberry, after a shaky start in the first game in the fourth frame, in which she's actually bowling in the number 4 spot. Spare, strike, spare.
But that
Leaves
that
a
was
couple.
yeah, that was never going to get right of the head pin, unfortunately. So it could be a gift that she just left the 610. And it's amazing to know that when you watch Chloe bowl, she's so talented, naturally gifted, that she didn't have a youth career before she went to college either.
Right.
There's so many. I just can't believe that because they're so good.
Miss Ship in her position. So that means that Colston will be in the anchor position based on what we've seen in this lineup that's been changed by Coach Cruz.
Well, they're down 2 games.
So
You have to do something.
missed the head pin.
It looks like she might have switched balls too, but that ball never moved. On these types of patterns, you have to make sure that you have the right equipment in your hand, the right surface on your bowling ball. You need to have the right angle to the pocket. I mean, if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah, no question. Trying to pick up the spare.
That's a good shot.
Yes. Great
That was
spare.
perfect.
Great spare from Miss Ship. Let's look at that one once again.
She went right at this. Beautiful form.
Hit just
And
where
hit
we're
that.
supposed to.
Yep, hit that head pin right into the 10 pin. Beautiful. And they need it.
Maya. Aviles. And that anchor spot has allowed the Aggies to take a 2-0 advantage in this best of 7 Baker format. 10 again remain standing.
Now, yesterday we saw most of the misses were light, so they were missing too far to the right. Today, I think we're seeing more misses that
Just
are
the
left.
opposite way.
Yes.
Opposite way.
You know, with the TV lights and things, sometimes the lane will dry out a little bit more in the area that everybody's trying to play.
Can she pick up the spare? Ooh, that was close.
Yes, that was a lot closer than I thought. But it looks like everything is more further left for her, even her spare shot, because she barely tapped that 6 pin into the 10.
So
But
this
the
is
point is she got it.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And Miss Colston was the anchor bowler for them yesterday. She started this match first two games in the number 2 spot.
That's right.
And right now she's been moved back into the anchor position.
That was a better shot. It looked like she moved a little bit further left as well. Now you'll notice the girls are wearing red ribbons, and that is for a friend of Madison's, Kimmy Woolard, who is suffering with a disease called ROHAD. And there's only 150 people worldwide that have this. And unfortunately, her friend passed away, and she found that out on her way to this event. So they're all wearing red ribbons in her honor.
We'll be back to the final 5 frames of game number 3 and on back in 2005. Of course, UMES had 3 straight championship wins twice, 2006, 2008, and then 2013 and 15. And A&T had 3 straight twice, 2002, 4, and 2021 and 23. Delaware State repeated 1 time. The way to start it off, Grace Stoll.
Great shot by Grace.
6th frame of game number 3.
Ball speed and rev rate matched perfectly on that. Another light shot.
Of course, we know Coppin, Morgan, Howard, UAB still looking for their first. Monmouth was in the conference until last year, and they left as an associate member after last season. And 4 pins left standing this time by UAB's leadoff bowler, Soliva.
Yeah, she pulled that one to the left. It's not going to hold. Unfortunately, she left a split, but this is makeable. She just needs to slide that 3-pin into the 7.
Let's see if it can happen. She's got the idea. It just didn't make it.
That was a very good shot. But she got the wood.
Yes,
you have to get the pins. The name of the game, I tell all my high school bowlers, the name of this game is get as many pins as you can.
Chop as much wood as you can.
That's right.
I haven't seen a Brooklyn today.
No, not yet.
Saw Staten Island, but it is your Brooklyn.
That would be Alvarez. That's where she's from.
Still hear that?
You can hear that thumping, but it's not. It is
Still
not bothering her ball roll one bit.
It's not.
That's a double for her. She struck the last time up.
That's right.
And like I said, she's the only lefty, so her shot is not going to change.
But she has 3 strikes in the match.
And
the only bowler with 3 strikes. Well, I'm sorry, other than Stoll.
Right. But her ball, she rolled it right in there, and beautiful reaction on the pins.
Cobos? Remember, she rolled a gutter ball the last time and then came back with a big... Cleaned it. Yeah, that's making up for lost time, right?
Well, you know what she was saying to herself? It's not going in the gutter.
Not this time.
Yeah, she just pulled this from the get-go. It was never going to the right, but she got it far enough to the left of the head pin to carry it for the Brooklyn strike. You get no extra points for flair out there. Doesn't matter how pretty or how ugly the strikes are. They all count the same.
They all go down. Victoria left an open frame the last 2 times she's been up. She's had 3 open frames today.
Much better. That was a much better shot. That was probably one of the best shots she's thrown today. You know, sometimes just because the two-hander has more revs and more strength and power in their ball, sometimes they need to dial it back a little bit as well. You have to let the ball react to the lane in order to get it to the pocket. Let the ball do the work, I tell everybody. That was a much better shot.
The spare is made.
Perfect. Just clean frames, ladies. Just keep your frames clean.
Schneider. They call a salve. There we go. Almost. Head pin a little bit too flat, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm a little baffled that she hasn't moved. I don't know if she's moved. It doesn't look like she's moved because I think she's playing the same line since when she started because all of her shots have been high. She's lucked out. She's only left 9. 1 pin to shoot at.
And she picks that spare.
Now, it appears that she moved left. It appears that, well, for the spare she did. But on her strike ball, I'm going to have to look to see if maybe she's moved in. I think she needs to.
Well, Chloe Newberry has filled every frame with the exception of 1, 4 of the 5 in which she's bowled so far. 8 spare earlier in this game, number 3.
Great shot. I wasn't sure that was going to slide enough to the right, but it did. She tripped the 4 pin, which means it was a little high, but hey, she'll take it. Still a great shot.
Got to bring on Jordan JoJo. They call her Jordan Ship. FAMU transfer. Public health is what she's getting her master's degree in. You know, you talked to her, you talked about her strength. And a lot of these bowlers, even coaches, will tell you they want them to have tunnel vision, not be looking all over the place or thinking about what's going on around them.
Correct.
And the tunnel vision is on concentrating on what's in front of you.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it's easier for some more than others. But she said her strength is staying in the moment and locking her moment there.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that she leaves one standing.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
Yes, it is. She said she has to keep her emotions in check also. That was very important as far as she's concerned. Meanwhile, here's our anchor, Maya Aviles.
All she has to do is mark.
That's it.
That's it.
There we go.
What a mark that was. Best shot of the day for her, and she has bowled well. But that was beautiful. That was awesome.
Aggies on the edge and the cusp of going 3-0 on top. Changing balls for the spare. Well, I don't know if it's a spare ball, but for her second roll.
And here's the thing, too. You take someone like Maya, who knew she needed a mark in order for the team to win that game. And there's a difference between knowing you need a mark and getting the mark.
Yeah.
And when you
being able to perform it.
100%.
Yeah.
And when you put those two together, it's a remarkable feeling.
We know what we want to do, but can we do it?
But can we do it? And can we do it in certain situations.
Here we go. Once again.
Now that's smart. It's basically a free frame,
Mm-hmm.
so she's trying something different.
Change the balls. Change
100%.
balls.
Yep. But after that first shot she threw in the 10th, I wouldn't change anything. That was the best shot of the day.
Don't mess with success. Now somebody else is going to bowl for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. And this is Savannah Bergen, sophomore out of Grapevine, Texas, criminal justice major. Colleyville Heritage High. She's going to bowl this last one here. Well, they knew they had it. 187.
Once again, not high games.
Highest score of the 3 games for the Aggies, 183, 179, 189, 187 rather. And let's see what UAB comes up with
I
their
wish I
anchor
had bowled
bowler.
against people that shot those games at me on TV.
You'd have been sitting on top of the world, wouldn't you?
Oh, what a great shot.
Nice shot there by Madison Colston.
That's the Madison we saw yesterday,
Yes.
who anchored all day. But she said in her interview, I'm comfortable there. That's my free space. So maybe they need to keep her there. Some people are not comfortable in the anchor position. They request not to be there, even though we know talent-wise they should be there.
175 is the max they can do.
Once again, important to have the right bowler in the right seat.
So the Aggies going up 3 games. 1. Another strike there.
And this is great for her. These are free shots.
Yes, they are.
So it's allowing her to loosen up, maybe make some type of adjustment if needed. But whenever I leave a 7-10, I throw it the 10 pin or the 7 pin as a practice shot.
So the third game about to come to a close with the Aggies taking a 3-0 lead. Just a matter of what the score is going to be for the Blazers of UAB after this one is rolled down the lane by Madison Colston. Let's see what she comes up with. Will it be another strike? Yeah.
I mean, she looks like a totally different bowler
Yes.
in this 10th frame. Those were 3 aggressive, extremely well-thrown shots. I mean, she looks like the bowler yesterday.
175, 187. The Aggies on top. And they lead it. In the last 5 years, 8th time in a row that they've been in the championship game here at the MEAC. Of course, we talked about earlier that they're an associate member as the school left the MEAC as a entity and has joined the CAA. But more importantly, they come in as an associate member and have done fantastic jobs over the years. Kim Terrell Kearney, who's 5-time Coach of the Year, 5 straight times Coach of the Year, and she won another time Coach of the Year while she was a coach at Delaware State.
Well, she's a 5-time Coach of the Year consecutive, and she has 4 bowlers on the first team all conference. That's saying something.
It is. He's had some great bowlers over the years that have come through this program. Grace Stowe, 3 strikes to her credit today. Frames 6, 7, and 8.
She leaves the 6-10. We've seen this spare quite a bit today. Most of the misses today have, well, the majority of them have been high. rather than light. So she'll shoot this cross lane with her spare ball.
I misspoke a moment ago. I said strikes in 6, 7, 8. Strikes in games 2 and frame 7 and frame 6 and 6 in game 3. Don't forget ESPN's coverage of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships begins Thursday, April 17th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, right on ESPN2. And for more information, we invite you to go to ncaa.com. It's the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. So the spare picked up that time by Miss Stoll. And that brings on Kobos. He was real left of the head pin, wasn't he?
Very much so. I don't know whether she's still thinking about that gutter ball.
Yeah, but
I would
she
hope
came
not,
back.
because she came back and spared it.
Yes, she did.
With her best shot of the day. But she's got to just take a deep breath and stay down on her shot, follow through.
The Aggies went 6 games last year against Maryland Eastern Shore before bowing out and losing to who was the defending champions. That's the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. They're trying not to go 6 or 7 games this year. They're trying to make it a short day. Here comes a spare.
Much better. That was perfect. That's her strike shot right there. So she's got to remember where she was looking, where she stood, and how that felt coming off her hand.
And let me ask you this. With the Baker format, as opposed to you bowling twice in a whole game, as opposed to going frame by frame by frame, is it much harder to make an adjustment and do what you were just talking about?
Yes.
And remembering what you need
Yes,
to
because
do.
you only get 2 chances.
Correct.
You have to make the most of it.
Laura Garcia. She has 3 strikes to her credit so far today.
Even our lone lefty is going a little high. Like she tugged that a little bit. She pulled it a little bit right.
Only one open frame for her, and that was in game 1, bowling in the number 2 position. But after that, strike, spare, spare, strike, strike.
Spare.
Spare. And it's Garcia.
It's all or nothing now. Last game. They can't get something going. So every pin counts.
Vanna Schneider. He has 1 open frame, and that was in game 1. Everything else he's been able to do a spare. Pick up the spare. Here we go.
That was her best shot of the day. She kept going high, high, high. It appears that she had moved a little left, gave it a little more room down the lane. And look at the pin action. She came up light. Like I said, I think light was better yesterday and today. Great adjustment.
Victoria White. Wentzville, Missouri. Wentzville Holt High School. Business Information Technology is this major for the freshman. Rookie of the Week at MEAC Meet 2, ranking 2nd in the fill percentage, 91.4, and 3rd in several other categories.
She missed the head pin to the right. Being a head pin spare, the 128. So it'll be interesting to see what she does on her adjustment to make the spare because it's a head pin spare. She just missed the head pin. She's going to throw her spare ball at it.
Looking
Great
good.
shot.
And it is good.
Great shot. I don't think any spare is easy on this condition, but she went right at it. She picked up her spare ball, kind of pointed at it a little bit, but the spare ball is never going to hook. Look at her. She's elated.
I'm a happy freshman.
Yes, and a very accomplished one. Great reaction.
Jordan Ship. Jordan, one open frame, and that was in game number 1. Everything else she spared. Leaving 2 standing.
6-10 again. She said she has to work on, she doesn't trust herself. She's always second guessing herself, and sometimes the second guess isn't always right.
Actually, she's had 2 open frames. She had one, she actually had 3 open frames. I was looking at the wrong score. Game 1, she had one in game 2, and she had one in game 3. Needs to spare. And she got it.
She switched to a urethane ball to shoot her spare instead of a plastic ball. Very interesting. I just saw that.
With Newberry on deck now for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. As I said, she's had only just one open frame, and that was in game number 1, bowling in the number 4 spot. Had a spare, strike, spare, spare, strike.
Yeah, Chloe's made a lot of good shots.
Fill the frames. That's the name of the game. 4 strikes.
Great shot, tripping the 4-pin. I believe her last strike, she tripped the 4-pin as well.
Back to back.
This
A
looks,
double.
yes, this looks identical to her last shot. Beautiful game. Gets it off her hand. Nice. Stays down. Looked like it was going to go left, but it hung on. She got it to the right just enough in the center of the lane, down the lane, for it to trip the 4-pin. Great shot.
Number 5 bowler for UAB. What a way she ended game number 3.
It was amazing.
Madison Colston, the anchor bowler for the Blazers of UAB. Picking up the spare. That's big. But how about Miss Aviles from Aggies of North Carolina A&T with 4 strikes today?
Well, she tripped the 2-pin there, came up a little light. Then she went a little high, tripped the 6-10, which everybody's been leaving. Then she ends it on that shot where the 10-pin goes straight back, and she knew it.
Two in the first game, one in game 2, and one in game 3. In the 10th frame, she had
She fell off that a little bit, but she knew as soon as she let it go that that was not a good shot. She's very disappointed in herself. You know, when you're in that anchor position, you take on a little bit more pressure than everybody else because you're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes it very personally.
Ooh,
And she just said, did you hear her? She said, oh no. So she knew that.
so not looking good there. Even though the Aggies have a little advantage right. She does have 4 strikes to her credit so far today.
Overall, she's bowled well.
She started off as the anchor bowler for UAB, and they've switched up the lineup as he picks up the spare. Of course, postseason honors, MEAC bowling, Kim Terrell Kearney, 5th time in a row that she's been Coach of the Year. Rookie of the Week, or Rookie of the Year, Maya Aviles. Bowler of the Year, Victoria White. I think that's switched around a little bit. The Rookie of the Week should be Victoria as opposed to the
Yes.
Bowler of the Year. Ray Stoll.
Grace is hanging around the pocket, picks up her spares.
Yep. I said it and then I Stoll. Second shot. Picking up the spare and they're gonna miss it. Open frame.
That's
Great.
yes, that's not like her to miss the whole thing at all.
So the door's still open for UAB in this game number 4. See what happens going forward here. Well, we got Miss Kobos coming on deck. 1 strike for her. 1 open frame. Again. Miss Kobos.
It's just, I'm glad she got the strike, but it's just difficult for her to feed the ball to the right where it needs to go to the right down the lane. But she got away with it. That's what you need. You need some luck.
Garcia with 3 strikes on the board for her today. 1 open frame, and that was in game number 1. Spared the last time here in game number 4. It come in, did it? She was lucky to have just 2 pins standing.
She was. She really missed to the left. She knew it. She's smiling. She knew she missed way to the left. That ball was never going to recover. So she has out of bounds, as you can see right there. She has out of bounds to the left, just like the right-handed bowlers have it to the right. But she's still allowed to play further left than the right-handed bowlers are allowed to play further right. But she's the only one, remember.
Trying to pick up the spare.
Much better shot. Much better shot.
That didn't look good at first, did it? One of the scary shots.
Yeah. You've seen a couple today.
Sav Schneider. Just 1 open frame for her today. She spared everything with the exception of earlier in game number 4 where she had a strike. Let's see what she does here. This is the head pin, and these 3 standing.
Yeah, she's right on that line again. Now, her previous shot, she struck. It was the best shot of the day for her. That one there looks like she went back to the right. She's right on that line of it's going to hook to the left or it's going to sail to the right. It sailed to the right. But this is the 2-4-10. This is Very makeable. That's a good shot.
Missed the 10 pin.
She shot at it correctly, though. She gave it a run. That's what you're supposed to do. You want to secure the 2 pins to have the wood for the points.
Just missed it.
But she just missed the 10 pin to have the mark.
Victoria White spared the last 2 rolls. Had 1 strike so far this afternoon. 3 spares she's been able to pick up. This is our 2-handed bowler, the freshman, MEAC Rookie of the Year.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
10 pin just didn't want to cooperate.
No, it didn't, but she had a great smile on her face after she released that ball. She knew that was one of her better shots today.
You know, talking to Kim, they were talking about the fact that because of some new faces coming into this lineup for North Carolina A&T, they kind of got off to a slow start at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and
up, though.
Yeah, and now you're towards the end of the season, so you have a season under your belt as a freshman.
Yeah, I don't call them freshmen anymore.
No. And she hasn't really bowled to her potential today and yesterday, but you can't be perfect. This is also her first time in this position. A lot of attention. She's gotten a lot of attention because of her accolades, and that could weigh on you. This is the first time for a lot of people to be in this position to win a championship.
Yes. And we talked earlier about the fact that 5 bowlers from this Aggie team will be gone after this year. We're talking about Caton, Melanie Caton. We talk about Garcia. We talk about Stoll, Avilas, and Newberry. Now, we haven't seen Melanie Caton today. She's had some injuries that's plagued her this season. She's had a pretty rough year.
And that's unfortunate. Boy, I got to tell you, that really went long. That went way down the lane before it made the turn left. It barely hit the head pin, and she only ended up with the 7 pin. So she is very fortunate to only have to shoot it 1 pin. And I could see UAB now is getting a little louder because they know the door is open.
And that's one of the things, they bring a lot of energy and excitement.
Yes, they do. They are one of the teams, you don't know whether they're bowling good or bowling bad. They're yelling no matter what.
No question.
And I love that.
Bowie Newberry, our next bowler for the Aggies of North Carolina A&T. Bowie, 2 back. She's had a double. Had a strike in the 9th frame of game number 3, and a strike here in the 4th frame of game number 4. She has 3 strikes to her credit today.
That's much better.
Leaving 3 standing, though.
I thought that was a much better shot. But again, it went a little long, leaving the 2-4-5.
So it's going to come down to the 10th frame here. It's going to be very interesting to see what UAB can do to hang in there, because they're down 3 games to none to this Aggie squad.
Great spare.
And the other thing you're going to have to ask yourself, Carolyn or Kathy, is which lane seems to favor which team?
Well, that's a great point, because when we spoke with Coach Cruz, she said it was beneficial when they were able to choose as the higher seed to pick their lane, and then they had enough pins pinfall to pick their lane for the last game. And she said, I knew what lane we wanted to be on. And that is very important, where you want to start and where you want to finish.
So we'll see what happens here with this roll. Almost a Brooklyn that time for Madison Colston. The anchor. This is a 10th frame for UAB. This is big.
This is very big because she's now going to put pressure on A&T.
Yes, indeed.
To perform in the 10th frame.
Aviles will be the one that's going to be the recipient of that pressure.
So if she spares and strikes, she forces Maya
to have
all three.
Right, all three strikes. Let's see what happens on the spare. She gets it. Yes.
So that's very, very big. Once again, let's remind everybody watching, this is not high scoring to win a championship. It comes down to shot making and spare making.
172, 182. Your highest score so far today is 175. That is Alabama Birmingham. And they're in position to go above that right now.
She needs this strike to force a tie. Okay, listen. She deserved it. That was a great shot under a lot of pressure. But she's forcing Aviles to get up and throw 2 strikes.
171. Let's see what the max.
Well, she's got to throw all 3 to win. She needs all 3 strikes to win. To win it all.
Right.
If she gets a double, anything other than a strike,
it's all over.
We start.
And I'm sure she
start
knows
again.
With game number 5.
Correct. This is where the mental toughness comes in.
Aggie started this match in game on which lane?
That was beautiful. And look at that reaction. That was unbelievable. So we're back to the previous game where she showed up in the 10th frame.
Yes.
But this is for everything.
More gives them a one pin lead advantage, right? 172. Is that correct?
Yes.
Over 171.
Okay, she kind of knew that too. Again, she reacted as soon as she let it go. She knew she overthrew it a little bit, which is one of her weaknesses. She has a tendency to overthrow it. But let's understand the position she's in. Even though she's done this for 4 years and she is extremely talented and obviously mentally tough, this is for everything. This is to win the whole thing. So I've seen the pros overthrow it too.
$160. 162. Game number 5 coming up. A&T still leading it 4 games to 1. Right. And the scores much higher than we've seen today. A&T won the first one 208 to 174. They won the second 214 to 207. They lost the third one 212 to 168. They lost 233 to 189. 205, 201. We haven't seen much higher. And the final was 223. Maryland Eastern Shore came out after they were down 2-0. But just to go back and look at last year's score sheet, very interesting.
Well, we didn't even see a lot of individual 200 games all weekend either.
That's true. Ray Stoll leaves 3 as we start off game number 5.
Well, surface plays a lot into the game as well. So when you bowl at different bowling centers every year,
Sure. Oh, yeah.
surface at the bowling center.
But this is the second year they've been here at this facility. Prior to that, they were in Virginia Beach for a couple of years, and they were in Norfolk before that. So they have moved around to a couple different bowling
Yes.
centers over the last 5 years.
And every place will play different. You can put the same condition out, and every place will still play a little different. But this is a beautiful facility here.
It is.
The Buffalo Lanes North. Beautiful.
Oliva leading off.
Great shot.
Strike for Oliva to start off game number 5.
She kept it on line much better than her previous shot. She did switch balls, but that was a much better shot. They know it's at stake. They're willing to do whatever it takes.
Don't have much choice, especially being down 3-1.
You know, sometimes, though, that forces you to be better, and it'll bring out your better qualities in shot making when you know you're up against the wall.
It means you got to win 4 in a row.
That's right.
Garcia, Laura. Electrical engineering major. First team. Oh, MEAC.
Well, that's a much better shot than her previous one where she missed way left. That one, she at least got to the pocket. The oil's going to carry down for her because now she's the only lefty still.
I was going to say that does have an effect on
Yes, it does.
left-handed bowlers.
And being the only lefty benefits you at some point, and then it does not benefit you at some point. So now they may be tightening up for her a little bit if she chooses to stay that far left. Great spare.
Good spare for Lauren.
Yeah, she had double wood there. So, like I said earlier, no spare is easy when you're under these conditions and under this type of pressure. That was a great spare.
Victoria Cobo. The Brownsville, Texas native.
That's
looking good.
Oh, I thought that was much better shot. Now that I think about it, she threw it a little slower. I thought she threw that a little slower. What that means is the ball's then going to hook sooner. And you'll see that here as the ball enters the pocket. It was almost left of the head pin. Wasn't directly on the head pin. It hooked so much at the end, but I think it just appeared she threw it a little slower.
Let's see. Let's see if she can pick it up. Pick up the spare. Victoria. Well, you don't want to leave that open like that.
No. They really have to have the mindset at this point. They have to stay clean, no matter what. They have to stay clean.
And that was not a hard spare.
Not one of the harder ones, no.
No. But when you miss and just get 1 out of 3, if you hit it right in the middle, you at least get everything right. Well, let's see what Victoria can come up with. Spared the last 3 times she's been in action. Like I said, just 3 open frames for her today. So we'll get a strikeout. Oh, red is split.
You know, she's really struggled today, but I have to tell you, she hasn't
given up.
He can't get a break either.
Right.
Like, let's just leave 8. Let's leave the 6-10.
Right. Yeah. 7 doesn't need to be there.
No, but this, once again, this is makeable. You just have to get your spare
Slide it
ball
off and
far
hit
enough
that
to the
6.
right and clip the 6 pin and it'll slide over into the 7 pin.
Let's see if she can get it done. She's trying. Oh, she had the right idea.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was even going to bounce off the back. She gets her spare ball definitely far enough to the right. See how high that pin went in the back? I thought it was going to bounce off.
Bounce off and
get the
come
7
back
pin.
and knock it down. Yeah.
Well, this is where Baker, you focus on teamwork. So now your next bowler up on both teams needs to pick up the previous bowler.
So we're in the third bowler for Alabama Birmingham. Snyder, Savannah, looking good.
What a great shot.
Right.
Great shot for Savannah. Because she's had a lot of shots high in the pocket. And this looked perfect.
After leaving an open frame in game number 4.
There was no doubt about that one. That was picture perfect.
Her second strike of the day.
Those reactions, I just love it.
Meanwhile, the number 4 or 9 bowler is so important to the success of the squad overall.
Yes.
Chloe Newberry's in that spot right now with 3 strikes to her credit today. And just 1 open frame.
What a great shot. She's lined in. She's loose. She has the right angle, right ball speed.
Big
This
strike.
was 10 in the pit as soon as she let it go. Look at that. She almost left a stone 7 pin. That's how flush that was.
Is she a happy lady?
I'd say so.
Jordan Ship. The number 4 bowler for UAB. Nice looking shot. Well, she needs 6. I mean, she needs 4 after just getting 6.
Now she switched balls as well. That ball did not recover as much as I thought it would, because I thought that was a very good physical shot.
Michelle Cruz looking on her team down 3 games to 1, knowing they need this. She built this program 2011 to 2014. The program was cut out in December of that year, and then Birmingham community raised some money to help her rebuild that program.
Oh,
Good spare.
little luck there to get that 8 pin in the back.
Good spare from the Ship.
Watch how this almost deflects off the 2, 4, 5, but it gets the 8 pin in the back. Yeah, she should be happy.
8th year that UAB has been a part of the MEAC bowling fraternity or sorority, however you want to call it.
Well, getting back to Coach Cruz, this is the first time they're ranked since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
She's very, very proud of that, and she should be, what she did to keep this program alive. Here's
Well,
Alvarez showing up in her 5th frame as always. She wants out of here. She wants to win this. She wants to get that 10th frame back.
trying to get on the road back to Greensboro.
Well, they want that trophy in the van.
This is Madison Colston bowling in the number 5 spot.
All right, they got a break.
Well, anchor bowler seemingly doing what they need to do. Here's Aviles with a strike. And then, of course, we have on the other side, you have Miss Colston won their first ever national championship in their very first year of the program with head coach Shannon O'Keefe, who previously won two national championships with McKendree State. McKendree's been on top for quite a few years also. So as we go to the final five frames of this game number 5, Grace Stoll to lead it off for North Carolina A&T. Let's see what she comes up with. Almost a Brooklyn that time, leaves one standing.
Yeah, she went Brooklyn there, leaves only the 5-pin. I don't think she'll have a problem making this. Nerves might be setting in.
And I'm sure it is on both sides right
Yes.
now. This is a very big game for both of these squads. Of course, A&T wanting to wrap it up. UAB trying to stay alive.
Yes.
Blazers and Aggies going at it right now. Trying to pick up the spare. Miss Oh, he made it tight, didn't she?
That was a better shot, though. Making that spare, that was her strike shot right there. So that'll leave her a little more comfortable now for when she comes back up. Or she's done. Well, let's hope not.
Now here's something interesting. Oliva, she's changed balls. Remember, she's been with that bright ball she'd been bowling with all match long, and she's changed balls on this roll right now. Let's see what effect it has. Still leaves one standing.
Now she struck the last time with that ball. That was a better shot too. Stays in the pocket, only leaves 9, only leaves the 2-pin. You just want to leave spareable things, single pins.
More makeable.
Yes.
We've been fortunate. We haven't seen the dreaded 710 today, have we?
Ooh.
Good spare. Garcia for the Aggies. Just one open frame for Laura, and that was in game number 1. Bowling in the number 2 position for the Aggies. Had a strike, spare, spare, strike, strike, spare, spare, spare. So she has 3 strikes on the board today. Only lefty. You hear it. 7-pin just didn't want to cooperate.
It was a little light, but I got to tell you, she had great pin action on that. She really stays with every shot, whether it's a good one or a bad one. But I was trying to see which pin that was.
It just went by it, huh? Was that the 4
trying to see
pin?
what pin that was that could have taken out the 7.
Was that the 4 or the 2?
I think it might have been the 2.
Yeah. For the spare for Laura. As I said, she's only had one open frame today, and that was early on at the beginning of this match. Oh, that was close. She came close to hitting the gutter. Better to be lucky than good, huh?
You just have to hit it before your ball falls on the gutter.
That's it. This is Miss Kobos. Victoria. She's had a couple strikes today. She started this match as the leadoff bowler.
She switched balls too.
Leaves one standing.
Now that was a little high in the pocket, but boy, did that come off her hand great. She really threw a great shot there. Almost had the 4-9 split. So she only left the 4-pin. So we have to take advantage of those breaks. Just fill your frames. And I like that they're taking their time.
And that's important right now. because there's no rush. There's no time on how long is, you know, take your time, make sure you get your head right, understand what the task is in front of you. Here we go. Got it. Oh, I thought she had it.
I did too. I am so shocked at that. I thought she had that. There you can see she doesn't push her ball away until the second step. So it makes her timing a little late.
Plus, I was watching her eyes. Her eyes looked like he was looking down as opposed to looking up
Yeah.
at the pin.
She looks a little nervous, I'll be
Yeah.
honest. But listen, that's totally normal. But when your
Victoria White.
timing is a little late like that, you have a tendency to pull through, and she did.
Victoria White with her second strike of the afternoon. That's big here in game number 5.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to jump on the break that the other team has given you. You've got to take advantage of
She
that.
took advantage of the open frame left there by Miss Phobos. In the
And that was
meantime,
Victoria's best shot of the day, by
Yeah.
the way.
it was, even though it's a second strike, but it was a great shot. Right now, we're looking at Savannah Snyder. Snyder struck early on in this game number 5. Let's see what she comes up with this time. Kind of missed the head pin.
I think she missed that at the point of release as well. It didn't look like she came out of that clean. And therefore, the result is if the ball dumps onto the lane, it's not going to react correctly. So it just sailed in the oil. But this is spareable. 2-4-10. Slide the 2-pin over into the 10-pin.
Very important spare for the Blazers right now. Anything less puts them in a deeper hole.
Yes.
And the open frame is left there for UAB. Chloe Newberry. Strike earlier on in this particular 5th game in the number 4 spot, in the number 9 spot right now. 4 strikes for her today. Chloe Newberry, one of the seniors that will be leaving this program after this year. Preseason, all MEAC first team last year. First team all MEAC this year. Let's see what she has.
Wow.
Another strike.
Almost was a stone 8-pin, but she threw that unbelievable. That is mental toughness.
And remember, her along with Aviles have shared that anchor spot.
Yes.
So, as Coach Kearney will tell you, I can't go wrong with either one.
No, and that's where she's very lucky where she can do that with those 2 players. But Aviles should be taking a deep breath because that makes her job a little easier.
So much easier. Much easier. Let's see what Miss Ship does here. Hit it.
Oh, that was a great shot. She deserved a strike there. That was beautiful. Because she switched balls as well. And that's trust. And that's one thing that she said she wanted to work on was trusting her adjustments, trusting her decisions. And she threw that great.
Let's pick up the spare and hopefully Miss Phobos can come on, which she does. Colston, rather, will be the anchor bowler. In the meantime, Aviles, who had a strike early on in this game number 5, She has 7 strikes today. Aviles, another one of those young ladies that they'll be losing from this squad, from Staten Island, New York. Master degree in teaching. That's what she's getting a master's in. MEAC Player of the Year, first team all conference. Here we go. Remember, this is the 10th frame. They're in pretty good position to
Yeah,
walk away
it's over.
with this one.
It was unfortunate that UAB had the 2 opens in a row.
They did.
And then when Victoria White got up and sealed it with her best shot of the day.
And then Chloe Newberry follows with another
Yes.
strike.
But A&T did their job. They were given an opportunity and they took advantage of it. That's what you're supposed to do.
So the Aggies, it's just a matter of adding up the numbers, will walk away with another MEAC championship. They're 9th overall. With 5-time Coach of the Year, Kim Terrell Kearney, 196. That's the highest number
I was going to say,
seen.
that's a really high game.
That's the highest numbers we've seen today from either team. So UAB, I think they're just going to let some other people roll right now. That is UAB. I think we're going to see some new faces, people we hadn't seen, like Amber Longwell is going to come up because it's all over. They know they can't win it. So we're going to see some other faces that normally don't get a chance. Regina Marino is the young lady you're looking at there now from Zapopan, Mexico. She has international experience, biomedical engineering major. So she's going to bowl in the number 9 spot, or 10 spot, I should say, anchor spot.
It's not easy coming off the bench cold.
And another bowler who's going to bowl the second row is Amber Longwell, sophomore out of Spring, Texas. She's a 2-handed lefty. This is a 2-handed lefty. All right, let's see who gets the third roll.
They're going to get that trophy.
Well, I guess it will not be a third roll because they left the open frame. So 196, 145, the final score. Congratulations to the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, the winner of this one, and we'll be back. And Kathy will get a chance to talk to some of the celebrants right here in Raleigh. Stay with us.